Hey guys, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I just wanted to think of something. I need to put something out there for you guys. This isn't about my targeting though. So I wanted to say some things about the weather, the way it's been going. I really think the cabinet in America, and I'm going to use America as our baseline because it's what I know best. But our cabinet really needs to start working with meteorologists, and because weather plays a big factor in a lot of strategy, a lot of our game plans, operational decisions, so on and so forth. We need to not be bombarded or side swiped with how the weather is. Now, there was a man here in England that looked at me and gave me a look, and he says, "Doesn't look like we're going to have much of a summer." So I think it was his purpose to let me know, hey, we're looking at a really old world type cold winter. Why? I'm not used to out here, but everyone does seem to be a little underprepared this time of year. Only in the sense that they weren't expecting all this rain at this time of year. I don't know if this is normal. And it gets really cold too, especially at night. And the weather cycle system here is not like California, 10 days on, 10 days off. It's different here. And a lot of things pass from the Arctic area that come in and out really quick. We have quick showers and they just leave and stuff. So that's probably normal. I think I've heard that there. Um, but for June, we're not experiencing more than 70 degrees, I think, Fahrenheit. So that's, I think, around 25, 30 Celsius or something like that. I'm not for certain. So my concern is that if we're going old world cold, that our agriculture department, our meteorologists, our transportation, especially, really need to get ready. FEMA, because there's going to be disasters that new people to the area aren't prepared for. And my concern is that the new people who have moved to cold areas or hurricane areas or anything, tornadoes, any type of severe weather, inclement weather, you guys aren't ready to be prepared for this. A lot of people have been moving around the states, and I do believe that it's your purpose to do this, but I don't want you guys to get hurt. So I'm worried about Canada. I'm worried about the northern parts of the world. Southern, we're not too much worried about. But there are weather things that happen in other places, the tropical places and the warm weather places. But I don't know much about that, honestly. I just know they get heavy pour, and it floods. It's really bad, and it's disastrous when it strikes, and then it comes up like to Florida or the East Coast line. So my concern is that college students and elderly especially don't have the knowledge, especially like asylum seekers and people who just got citizenship and they're not really used to this, and this is going to be a surprise. So you guys should stock up on things like batteries, radios, flashlights with batteries. Don't plan on plugging things in. You need batteries. You've got plenty of time. This is why I'm saying it in advance, so don't forget about this. But powdered milk, powdered formula, extra medication, make sure they're not going to be expired. For all your family, you need water for several days. They used to say 3 or 4 days worth, because it's about when they can come start getting people in, but that also depends on volunteers and stuff like that. So if you're able, you should jump in. Don't leave it to like the elders, because there's not enough people. You guys are young and able-bodied. You can get in there. Death and destruction is a part of life in inclement weather, and honestly, it makes you stronger. You do grow from it, and you do see life differently, and this is how it used to be. This is a part of how America was Americana, right? We stuck together and we helped. We didn't have big cities of people. We drove to each other's properties to come check on each other, bring food, bring blankets if you have extras. So you also need extra warm weather stuff. Those hand warmers, those will fly off the shelves, but they'll keep coming in. Like I said, it's June. We've got time. Get your share. You don't need to worry about going out extra vacation places, especially if you're in inclement weather. You need to prioritize this. You don't want to pay because you lived an overindulgent life, right? When you should have prepared. Remember the tortoise and the hare running the race, run it, steadily and consistently. Don't burn yourself out. So, don't live to regret this decision. You see what I mean? So then there's things that we need to worry about. Elderly home cares, hospitals, the generators. You guys need to go do your checks and inspections and keep them maintained. Building departments, building people, inspectors and stuff need to go out there and hustle. Go tell them, hey, I can visually see you need some help. Let me give you this discount. Let me put it on credit. Let me let you make installments. whatever, this is business, you know what I mean? So go out there and start looking and start helping. Get your contractors. I'm sure you know some contractors. Get them some business. We got some good weather. Let's get shit fixed while we still can, right? Then there's things like driving. Make sure your cars are maintained. You need to have oil. You need to have antifreeze. You need to check your levels. You need to do your flushes. If you have an automatic, you need a transmission flush. If you have a manual, you do not. Spark plugs are important. Wires are important. Make sure there's no bubbles, there's no cracks, there's no frayed wires. Make sure everything is intact. It doesn't have to be new looking, but it does have to make sure there's no dry rot. Check your brakes, discoloration. If they look blue or red or orange or anything, they're going to not be so good. You might want to get those inspected by a professional. Don't do them yourself, because professionals carry a liability that if something goes wrong, it's their responsibility. Don't do it yourself. They're usually not that expensive, but newer cars, they can be more expensive. Windshield wiper fluid, get the antifreeze type kind. It's not antifreeze like your radiator, it's antifreeze windshield wiper washers. You guys want to get scrapers. You guys want to get chain tires, your chains for your tires. You know, eBay, you know, you can find those, Amazon. Make sure you get the right size. It's on the wall of your tire. Write it down, especially if some of you have special cars, you have 2 different size tires. What else do we need? You want to make sure all your lights are working. You want to make sure, you know, do a pre-trip inspection. So check your wipers, check your brakes, you know, get out, put something on it if it's just you, but back up to something a little bit at nighttime and check both of them. Your headlights, your fog lamps, your brights, you want to check those. Your horn, make sure your horn is working. You know, go online and check how to handle blowouts or spinouts or anything. Always go slow, truly. Pump your brakes before you have to apply it. You want to crawl. That's the best thing I can tell you. Crawl. Don't try to go faster. When you feel the impatience in you and you feel the desire to go faster, that is really evil telling you, fuck this up, right? So don't let that evil inclination, the Yitzhar Hara, take your life or take your property or make your life harder, right? These are our extensions of our houses. These are extensions of us, and they keep us safe as possible, right? So you also want to do things like keep those foil blankets, the Mylar blankets. They do help. You do want to maybe keep some extra sleeping bags in the car for 0-degree cold weather, or even negative if that's where you are. Just in case, keeping those cold weather tents and keeping those insulators of any kind. I find that those big curtains that are made for blackouts, those are also really good. They have a very thick, boxy texture, and those can help keep warmth in. Just put it over your tent since you're probably inside, but especially if you have babies, you guys want to have these backups if you can afford it. If not, have backup plans, go with family, do things like that, right? You guys got to work. This is Americana. We didn't let fights keep us separated. We came together, right? Our community, our neighborhoods, our families, we just let bullshit go and we all stuck it out together, right? This is old world. So, your insurances, make sure your insurances are up on your vehicles and on your houses, apartments, whatever. Things happen, disasters happen, windows break, snow gets in, things get molded, right? There you go. You needed it. So, and then also people loot during the winter if you leave, you know, and you have to worry about that. So get your renter's insurances. If you have weapons, get weapon insurance. You need to make sure you're covered, because if you're going to protect your property, you don't want to take it because just because you feel justified doesn't mean they aren't justified. Maybe they're trying to get into where it's warm. You know what I mean? Just all kinds of stuff can happen. Put up signs, you know, don't try to shelter in place here. You know, police station is this direction. MiFis, you might want to get some MiFis, because that is very important for connectivity. What else is there? Let's see. I'm trying to think. Text now type apps where you can get a free second phone number in case your phone number goes out. You have your MiFi on. If you pay for that service, keep your MiFi on, lose the phone bill, and put your Wi-Fi on your MiFi, right? So that's a really important one. I love that little extra right there. But generators, getting backup generators, solar generators, get the ones that are gas powered. If you have a family, they're cheaper. Keep some extra fuel, but watch the expiration date. I think you should Google that because sometimes it does go bad. So I'm saying, like, don't plan for it to be there for years. Just plan for it to be for the season, right? And then you want canned foods. Always make sure they're not expired. Dry foods, make sure they're not expired. If you get propane tanks, get some propane tanks and store them safely out of the heat, out of the cold. And those will, and not in the house, in a shed or something, insulated shed. Put some insulation around it on the bottom too. And wrap those things up like you do your trees in cold weather, right? So you have those as backups. And get yourself a nice propane barbecue. You don't have to get the big ones. They have the Asian style where it's just the frame. And you hook your propane up. Make sure you get all the accessories. The gaskets, don't skimp on it. You need gaskets. It'll leak. And gaskets, washers, bolts, all that stuff. And get your woks, get your stuff. Have a deep freeze. Put that on a generator. Especially if you have family. You know, this helps you stretch your money out. You can put bread in the freezer for up to 6 months. Meat too. Make sure you date it. You don't just date it with the day you put it in. Date it with the expiration date too, so you don't get confused. You know. Other things, yeah, fresh vegetables, vitamins. Put some vitamins in there. Make sure you're not, losing nutrients if you're going on this type of diet. Even if it's for a few days, you're gonna feel pain. Nutri-Grain bars and things like that. Get your granola. Get your good stuff in there for you. Please don't forget your medications. Pharmacies really do need to prepare for this. People get, 3 months in advance and they got something on them extra. You see what I mean? So that's very important. Let people know where you are if you have a shelter and stuff like that. Let your church know, let your police know. So if things go down, they don't have to go look for building plans because they don't usually do that. And they know where you can be, where to come find you. It's though I people need to be prepared that when you find death, you do eventually find odor, and that's always an anxiety producing thing. So let's try to minimize that we even have that to begin with, and let's also be prepared if we decide to go in and be rescue. Masks and a light essential oil. Don't put too much in there. You don't want to smell it. It can poison it depending on what it is. Things like lemon, things like mint, things like chamomile, things not like lavender because a little bit of that goes a long way, but that helps to keep you from, a little perfume is fine. Let that air out because that alcohol, um, maybe keep some potpourri sashes in some and see if that helps. I don't know how strong it'll be, but cinnamon and stuff like that, vanilla, things like that, the orange things, don't go too crazy. I wouldn't do lavender. That's probably one of the worst ones to use. Tea tree oil might be one of the worst ones to use because you breathe in too many of those microbes, and citronella, never use that. That is to be used sparingly when you have like funguses. So just and I'm not exaggerating when I say sparingly. I mean, put it on a Q-tip and swipe it. Don't douse it. Don't drop it. Don't do crazy stuff like that because it will make you nauseous really bad. And I have heard people who overload on it can die. So basically keep your essential oils away from children and animals because their senses and their bodies are smaller. They don't need to smell as much of it. So you guys got to stay away from those. Those are for like apartments. People aren't established very well with big families and pets and stuff like that. You keep them in another room if you do. Make sure they have a window open. You definitely don't want to overload them. They can't talk about how uncomfortable they are, so kidneys and livers are very small on them. They filter it, you know what I mean? So you don't want to do this. And a lot of them do struggle with them in their older ages. So cleaning products, those aren't so bad, but definitely still open a window for them. It helps them. What else is there? Like I said, mittens, scarves, hats, those little warmers, those 8, 10, 11-hour, whatever warmers. Those are important to have. Amazon has them for like $25. You might want to get some cones and flares in case you have a breakdown. Generally, you put them out 500 feet away from a big truck, but there's 3 of them, so you just do it from the back and walk it out. That's the best way to the inside of where it is. That's where it would end. Flashers, always, I swear by them. Use them. It doesn't matter. Caution is never going to hurt anybody. Use your flashers. Keep them on. Especially when you're crawling, especially when you're crawling at night in dense fog, sleet, snow, rain, heavy rain especially. You want those. If you can't see the lines, don't assume anybody else can see theirs. So basically, crawl. I've been in sandstorms before in a truck, and by the grace of God, we all had the hand on us and we all blindly made it through. It was an incredible experience and scary as fuck. So watch your wind advisories. Don't dare to go anywhere. Hospital, shelter, everybody needs to get ready for early cold weather. I'm really worried about this, I'm telling you. They're making me seem blue because they're telling me I'm doing a good job, I guess. I don't know. Let's see, what else can there be? So FEMA, insurances, protection, food, medication, vitamins, water, propane, vehicle. Get ready to go Zoom. You guys should have your Zoom backup plans. If you're new to a company, ask them about a Zoom backup plan. It should be very common sense at this point, you know. Get stored stuff. Go get bulk. Go store things and keep it. You know, you want to keep some frozen bread. You want to keep some extra mayo unopened. Get a little cooler, a little apartment-sized refrigerator. Run that on your generator. Watch. Okay, so how generators work. There's a maximum load that when you spark up, it's going to be higher than your stable load, right? So you need to know what the stable load is, and your all of your megawatts, hertz, watts, all that kind of stuff. I don't know what they're considered over here, but you want to have all of that factored into what you can run and for how long you can run everything. And you need to balance your time and usage. Like you would want to keep your refrigerator on, right? But you may not need to keep your microwave plugged in, right? So, or your hot plate plugged in, because even if it's plugged in and turned off, there's a possibility something is still running through it and you don't want to waste that. So you have to balance those things. If you have medications like insulin and stuff, definitely see if you can go get those patches or implants if you can. I don't know the contraindications or anything. What would say you can't use it. If you're an alcoholic, please get yourself into treatment and start preparing yourself. If you're on any type of drugs, you could go through a withdrawal. And here's the thing, I knew a girl in that Kentucky place, remember? She was out of treatment and she went back to the same dosage she was used to using and she killed herself, because you do drop your tolerance and your body is trying to survive without it, and then you overflood it and you oversaturate, and it's just not geared to process that amount anymore. And you guys really do need to go get into treatments. You guys need to look into NA and AA. Those are very big and important. I know they say we don't advertise or endorse, but honestly, I've been to so many meetings myself. I swear by them. They have a good sense of community, and you need to work the program, and you need to reach out to people, and you need to get a mentor. And people need to be willing to be mentors, honestly. It's might be more on your mind than it is on theirs, but it's not like you're 24/7 living with each other. You know what I mean? Like, you need to remember that. But don't cost yourself anything you're not ready for either. And if you have to drop somebody, then please respectfully have someone else backed up for them to take them over. You know what I mean? So you don't let them fall because something in your life isn't allowing it, and that's acceptable, you know. So next I'm gonna, and then, you know, the family stuff, the Al-Anon, the associates, people who know them, relationships, family or whatever. Guys, support each other too, because living with addicts and some crazy things, you don't need to hurt anybody, right? We don't need to go risk our first responders to go pull them out, and either make them safe or worse, you know, pull out a DB, a dead body. So definitely need to be mindful. Start working on your mental health before we go into this crisis. This is going to be very important for people with any mental health issues. Even if you don't doubt it, start reading magazines, start reading articles, start preparing for cold weather, mental health, depression, seasonal depression. Start looking at the lack of connection if you're a social person. You know, start taking it online if that's not what you're doing. Start looking for chat groups and stuff you want to be a part of. Things like this. Start positive chat groups. Put that in your head, or this is a positive chat group. This is not meant to bring anybody down, you know, things like that. Be positive, stay positive, right? Maintain positivity. Let's see. Yeah, so definitely make sure you have your medications. Try to think. The weather, the animals, bring the animals in, get your animals, your livestock, have a backup plan. If you can get some equity out, if you can take a loan, whatever you need to do, get yourself a shelter, get yourself a generator, get yourself that stored fuel, get yourself the solar panels too. Have multiple forms because you're ultimately responsible for all those animals. And there's no need to have death. That's not a liability in business. That is a death of an animal that could have been prepared for. Don't beat yourself up if you weren't able, but definitely reach out to each other and help people in the community. I'm really talking about Texas and Arkansas and Oklahoma and California. We don't get a lot of crazy weather, but we might, especially up in our snowy areas. So get your livestock in, get your chickens in, or give them to someone who can take care of them, someone who will foster them. Look to your churches, see if anybody can put up a temporary coop where they have better weather, or in their garage or something, someplace you can keep warm. If you have horses, get them stocked up. Everybody needs water. Everybody needs fresh water. I watched a mare on the ground passed away in Tennessee, and it broke my heart so freaking bad because her partner, who's bigger, doesn't know what went wrong necessarily. The weather, I mean, his heart was broken. It was the saddest thing ever. So make sure the horses are taken care of. Donkeys, don't forget them. Mules, roosters. You have no idea what they're going to be going for. Get them up off the ground. Get them pallets. Make sure they're not going to flood. Make sure their food isn't going to get wet. That'll give them mold. It can make them very sick. Watch for slips and falls. Fill the holes in on your property. Make sure they're stable. You don't want them getting hurt. Um, Rodents and stuff. Make sure you're preparing the traps and stuff, insects and things like that. Definitely your building codes. I mean, there's a list going on and on and on, and I'm just trying to troubleshoot what life is like in these situations, especially for new people. They don't know how to look at this. And then, like I said, elderly need a lot of help. Please go reach out and connect with your senior citizen homes. There's got to be like the Assemblies of God. There's got to be like branches that are able to look out and send their people out and go find out all of the nursing homes and rehabilitation homes and all that kind of stuff and help people have connection when there's good days to travel. So send letters, send cards, bring them over, bring, if you can afford it, bring sandwiches, bring cookies, bring, crackers. Always be mindful of allergies just in case. Just if it says, may contain pine nuts, don't bring them, things like that. Um, Food, crustacean, people have that, so maybe not the shrimp chips, you know what I mean? Things like this. That's just mindfulness of what other people have. Always tell them, hey, I made this, but it has walnuts, just in case, or I made this, it has egg, in case someone has psoriasis or eczema or whatever. So not everybody knows everything when a stranger brings something for them, but that doesn't mean don't help them. Um, what else? The warmers, yeah, we got to stay warm, stay hydrated. Dehydration is a very dangerous situation. I'm listening to some things and I don't know really what this makes it seem like I'm wasting my time. Maybe I've talked it through. I don't know. So I just want to make sure everybody's okay. I'm not used to things being as cold as things have been going. And when he said that, it definitely gave me the instinct to say something. I don't watch the news. I don't watch anything like that. So I have no idea what's really going on. Well, what are you telling me? Oh, I'm not telling everybody to fear. I'm not telling everyone to get into chaos or panic. Obviously, we've got colder weather coming in parts of the world. But places, new people, they don't know what to expect either. So this is also informational for them. But also be ready. Always have a plan. Remember Girl Scouts, always be prepared. It was like something like this, always be prepared. Um, you definitely want to I can tell there's going to be some Girl Scouts who are super happy. Always be prepared. Something like that, right? It's a long time ago. Um, but I definitely want you guys to be safe. Look out for each other. Remember, we're building a new community. We're building a new nation. We're building a new world. So we've got to be ready. Because freak things happen. And when he said that, it definitely clicked in me that I was already thinking this is cold, but I'm new here. I don't know. So It's June, and I've never heard of anywhere in the world having this type of rainfall and cold. We're still in sweaters, at best, like it's fall when it's cold, but it can storm too. So, and it comes quick. Sometimes it leaves easily. I don't know how normal this is, but um, yeah, worry about mental health because I definitely want to make sure people are not in a bad state of mind with weapons at home. Not for anybody else in the home, but I'm mostly talking about for themselves. We don't need to have any incidences. I'm going to try to play it cooler and cooler as things get colder and colder. I am looking to travel soon, but I don't know how soon. I'll have to figure this out. But I'm definitely sorry. I'm definitely looking to plan addressing the United Nations somehow, getting on the docket, submitting it, walking into the office, offering, figuring this out. I know I should get maybe a world type of advice for um, like legal representation, like a lawyer for human rights or something that is familiar. Sorry, that is familiar with multiple countries, philosophies, mentalities, even the United Nations laws on what civil rights are, what human rights are. Um, but I'm looking forward to that. That's going to happen. I'm going to do the same website, but I'm going to do it concurrently for presidency and the monarchy. So I got nothing to hide both ways. So, what else can I do? Something just buzzed on here. If you guys have any other insights and tips on how to do things budget friendly for these types of situations, inclement weather and stuff, that would be really helpful. Not everybody knows how to live on a budget, but sometimes things happen and you pay a big bill and something hits unexpectedly, and then what do? Everybody needs to know how to do these types of things. Everybody needs to be prepared. So I love you guys. I'm not freaking anybody out. I just want you to know if it's coming, we need to be prepared. It's the summertime. We can be prepared for this. Just like we schedule our loads, you guys need to think about that. We need to schedule preparation for everybody else's, we don't need as many truckloads going up anywhere. Ice driving is very dangerous. But if we can do our part while it's good, then the sales won't be there in the winter that we need to keep moving stuff in, because businesses, a lot of them, they just don't care. If there's a supply, they're going to meet the demand because they know you need these, right? So let's take care of it while we can, so we can keep those truckloads down. Truckers, start saving your money, start getting ready for it, slow down yourself. I hope this works for everybody's safety. I love you guys. Have a good day. Have a good week. Bye.